Okay, we're live. So, hi everyone, welcome back to our game design channel. My name is Premjit. I am the game designer at Battlebox, and Moxit is our game design intern. So, we have been building our shooter game, and we have done lots of game design. And today we are going to do a recap. What are the things we have completed, and when we started, Moxit also joined during that time. So before Moxie joined, we were just focusing on the gameplay controls and the maps, and it was playable, but like more of like very prototype type of thing, right? You can play test it. But when Moxie was joining, we were starting with the UI and the flow, right? So Moxie, can you give us a recap of the things when you joined and how you processed and came this far?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah.
So I've been in BattleBucks for like 2 months now, almost 2.5 months, and it's been a long journey. I joined as an intern for 3 months, and when I joined, the main game which the company was working on was this shooter game called BattleBucks. And at that time, they were still in the starting phases for this game. There not much was done. Basic GDD was available. I was at my starting days. I just got to read the GDD, understand how the game works, and also there were other hyper casual games. So I read the GDD of those, understood everything about them. And at the initial stages, my first task was that, like, in the shooter game, there are many characters, right? And for those characters, we wanted to create many skins like headgear, upperwear, bottomwear, etc. So for those, based on the rarity of the characters, I my task was to collect references so that, like, we get different themed characters, based on the rarity, like the legendary, rare, and common. Three rarities. Among these three rarities, the references should define each rarity. Like, common should look extremely common, like a normal T-shirt or something, and epic will enhance it more, like that. So that was my first task. I already four people watching. Wow. Okay.
Okay, don't get distracted.
Yeah, that was my first task, which was given to me. And moving forward, there were in the shooter game we had many other tasks also which we wanted to complete. So we finished it one by one, as in, if you had seen our previous live streams, you can see that we had worked on the lobby screen, scoreboard mechanisms, then victory defeat screen, then custom UI settings, weapon selection UI, then creating flowcharts for that, then crosshair selection, then matchmaking, kill confirmation, kill feed. The list goes on and on. So initially, how we started is that we listed down everything which we wanted to do, and after listing it down, we just, what do you say, came started doing it step by step. Step by, we wanted it to be completed, right? So we couldn't do the victory defeat screen first because that would appear at the last. So we had to come from the first. The first thing which we did, as I said, was the skins of the characters. And after the skins of the characters references was completed, we went on to the game statistics, like whatever was present in the game. So for that, we collected references from other games first. Maybe you can show the Figma file now. I'll explain from there instead of just blabbering on.
Okay, cool. So you can send me the file. I'll.
Okay, it's the same file, but I'll send it again.
Okay.
Yeah,
1 second.
yeah.
Yeah, you can see the screen now.
I'll check once in live just in case. Okay, yeah.
So where do you want to go? Here.
I'll start from here. So, for example, as I said, we collected references, right? This is the references for the leaderboard mechanism. So we collected from references from, like, the PC games, then famous PC games, and also some of the mobile games as well. And also we, if you could see here, like we collected some references from underrated games as well, like Killing Room 2. Like no one might have known of it, but it's still a shooter game, right? So we collected all the references for this. This is just an example. This is for the scoreboard mechanism. Similarly, we collected for everything, like for the loading screen, lobby screen, leaderboard, victory defeat screen, emote wheel, kill confirmation, kill feed. As I said, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And once we collected the references, the thing we did was we went through each of these references and we just collected ideas what we wanted to collect. For example, in this Valorant deathmatch screenshot, which I am showcasing here, here you could see that we have like put a square around the items which we wanted to take as our own. So this was just a brief concept which we wanted to take, like the avatar, name column, KDA, etc. So whichever concepts we felt good of, we just marked it down so that we can create a mock-up of it later. So once all the details which we wanted were marked down, we started creating the mock-up. For example, if we take this scoreboard, again, if I continue with this scoreboard, if you come down here, uh, yeah, here, this one first. So we created a basic mock-up first, like based on the ideas which we took using that square border thing. So whatever ideas we took, everything was implemented. Avatar, name, kills, death, health bar, shotgun, etc. And also, it's not just that we implemented everything. It's also like some of the implemented stuff. After creating a mockup, we got a basic idea like, okay, this doesn't feel good. Maybe we can remove it. We had like sessions with all the art team and Premjit here, and we decided whether we need to keep it or not, and based on that we created a mockup. Once the mockup was finalized, our task was to, not our, my task was to basically annotate it. So annotate as in like create a box border around it and then name what that particular element is. Why this is necessary as in, so once I annotate everything, it will be easier for anyone who sees this to understand what each element represents. So this was done not only for this scoreboard, as I said, it was done for all the elements, for all the mockups which we had created. So I don't want to make the list again. So that was a lot, but so all these annotations were done, and once these annotations were done, our next task was to like document it so that the everyone can access the document, read the document, and understand what's going on. And it's like the concept artist will read the document and understand what to create. The developers will read the document and understand how the mechanism will work. So the document is basically like a hub for everyone to reach into and grab the knowledge which I put it out there. So based on these annotations, I'll basically write down the heading of the annotation and write a small description about it. And also, it's not that the description is extremely like lengthy or extremely confusing to understand. The English was kept quite simple so that everyone could understand it. So that was the idea. Then once that was done, we would have a call with the art team, and in the call we would explain what would be done, like how our elements would look, how it should be present, so that they can create the mockups. They will give 2 to 3 mockups from our mockup, and we'll decide further on from that. So once this is finalized, we would move on to the next task. So if I come one by one from our game, do you remember what we started with? Yeah, we started with UI customization actually. Not the customization exactly, we just created this basic mock-up for how the layout would look during the gameplay, because this was the main factor in our game, right? So
Hmm.
we wanted to include everything, and we took references from other games such as BGMI, COD Mobile, etc. And here like we added every element like the joystick, shoot button, scope button, mini map, etc. And for this again we had annotated it. If I could find it here somewhere, yeah, it's here. As I said, once the mockup is created, I annotate everything, and after the annotation is done, I update it in the Google document so that others can understand. So this was the first task which was done, because this is the main thing which is needed for a shooter game, right? Without
Yeah.
this, the user player cannot perform anything. He cannot shoot, he cannot walk. So what's the point of the game at that point?
And here you learn
So
Figma.
yeah, this is where I learned Figma. So I was not like extremely good at Figma. I just knew like the basic concepts. And I think in the live itself, Premjit explained me some of the concepts of Figma, or maybe it was before we started live, I'm not sure.
Hmm.
But he explained some of the concepts. He like basic concepts such as how to put a stroke, how to align everything, how to group stuff, etc. So this is my first project which I did in Figma, basically the entire default buttons and UI. And once this was done, as I
Hmm.
said, after updating it in the document,
Yeah.
we went forward with what was the next thing we did? If I could remember it exactly, yeah, we wanted to understand how the, what do you say, sprint mechanisms works in the shooter game. For example, if you see in this default buttons UI, there isn't any like sprint button, right? So
Yes.
since it was not included in this, I did some research on BGMI and COD Mobile and how the button mechanism works there. So
What is it?
based on that, yeah,
What is it? The sprint mechanism.
I think it's in the
Other Figma.
other file. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll send the link of that too. One second, I'll just open it up. Login. Oh, I can log in only to one account at a time. Okay, I didn't know that.
Figma.
Yeah.
No, I think you can create multiple accounts on Google Chrome.
Okay, okay. I'm opening my account. One second.
Cool.
Game breakdown. I think it was in this. Okay.
Done.
Okay, it's in this. I'll send you the link. You can open that. Yeah. Are you screen sharing this?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So here you could see that all the joystick mechanism for BGMI was broken down. Like each element, what was happening in the screen was noted down with the help of a GIF file and also with the help of a description. So it's like there are many elements, right? It's not just that only there's only one or two elements. So it's like with the joystick itself, you can move forward, backward, left, right, and you can even sprint. And there's a mechanism of auto sprint as well, where you can auto lock the sprint button and the character will sprint continuously without even you interacting. So everything was broken down. But just to make sure we knew all the elements, we even broke down the joystick controls of COD Mobile here. COD Mobile had more controls compared to BGMI because COD had two modes in it, front person perspective and third person perspective. So based on those two, again the controls was broken down, and from this I continued working on making a mock-up for the sprint mechanism in that game. And as I mentioned before, the first task which I created was the UI building, right? At the top you can see that data from BGMI and Valorant was also broken down based on the UI elements present in the game. Like every single detail was broken down so that we could get ideas what to take from these games and put it into our own game. So this is where we got the idea for the UI elements, and this is where we got the idea for the joystick controls. Once we finished up with the joystick controls, uh, our game developer had made a basic what do you say, select basic gameplay mechanism. And in that game we wanted to do some play testing, and during that play testing we found out that like we had to keep like damage multipliers, so that each body is differentiated into three parts, and headshot will do more damage, body shot will do medium amount of damage, and leg shot will do less damage. So for that, again, we had to do some research. So we here is the research for damage and health system from BGMI. So we can see that research has some data regarding each weapon doing different amount of damage. Then body has some damage multipliers where each part of the body when hit with a bullet will do different amount of damage. Then BGMI had some other parts such as the body armor, penetration damage, and also here the health bar indication is shown how the health would get reduced whenever the player would get damaged. So all this data was collected, and while collecting this data, we realized that since our game is a free for all mode, like there needs to be a mechanism where the player will regain his health, right? So we went to Valorant for that. Here the data is broken down where how Valorant does the date like health regeneration part in death matches. So basically, whenever an enemy dies, he will drop a med pack, and if we pick up that med pack, the player will instantly regenerate the health. So I just gave a basic preview of it, but there are more data provided here. So based on that, we collected the health regeneration system from Valorant and damage multiplier system from BGMI. So after doing this, we what do you say started doing the mock-up for these two, and I think it's in this itself. Yeah, if Pranjit, if you go to Battleverse info page, can you see it's fourth page number.
Yeah.
Yeah, here after making the breakdown, we collected the data from that game and made our own like damage multiplier for our game. Initially, it's you can see that we had made it into four categories, but afterwards we realized that after some brainstorming session, we figured out that only three is required. It's not necessary for legs to be divided into two parts again, upper legs and lower legs. So we only kept the legs multiplier here. So, but we didn't delete the older version because what if we might come back to it? We never know. So it's important as a game designer, to not forget about the things which you did and just move on. So you have to keep all the data which you had done before. And also here you can see the data collected from our own game. Like we had created some base damage for each weapon, and for that, based on that base damage, we had calculated how much would each damage multiplier do, like the upper body, shot, and leg damage. So in our game, we had also classified our weapons into four categories: uh, rifle, sniper, like assault rifle, sniper, launchers, and close combat weapons. And also before doing this, my one more task was that I had to go to Google Sheets, and in Google Sheets I had to like differentiate the different types of weapons which is present in our game, and also write their descriptions, uh, insert an image how the weapon would look in the game, and put data such as the base damage of the weapon, head multiplier, body multiplier, etc. If you had seen our previous lives, you would have known that during the live itself we were changing some of the values in that Google Sheets. So that was one more task which we did. Now, if we go back to the shooter game UI page, after performing the damage and health system, we we had 12 weapons in our game, right, based on the Google sheet which we created. So we wanted a mechanism where the player would choose the weapon instead of always giving the player a default weapon, because at that point in time we had the player getting only default weapons. So what we did, we created a weapon selection UI for the player, and in this weapon selection UI, in the older version of it, we created a mechanism where it followed Valorant mechanics, where there would be a lock-in button and it would show the equipped weapon stats and etc. But again, after some brainstorming session, we figured that this mechanism didn't include a feature which we wanted, which was an undo feature, and also which was a comparing feature tab which would allow the player to compare the weapons. So since because of that, this idea was discarded, and we went on with this updated weapon selection UI, where the player got to see the I don't know why this is little moved around. Maybe someone moved it around, even I'm not sure. But yeah, one second. Yeah, in this newer version of weapon selection UI, player got the mechanism to see the stats of the equipped weapon, and you also got the like help of getting the comparison tab where you could compare the stats of the newly selected weapon with the equipped weapon. So that was the new feature implemented. Also, one of the feature was that you could like instead of pressing on the lock-in button, once the lock-in button was pressed, he couldn't like change weapons, right? So that was like a bad thing for us. We wanted the player to change the weapon. So this feature allowed the player to select a new weapon as well once he did a second tap on a different gun. So that was the mechanism. If you want to understand the complete mechanism breakdown of this, you can go to one of our previous slides where I explained every single concept of this. Then once we created the updated weapon selection UI, this was the mockup. We explained to our team, and we have an updated version of it. Again, that image is not here currently, but yeah, that was done. Once the updated selection UI was done, our next task was that usually in games, whenever the player plays, he would like to customize the UI settings so that he can have his own customized UI settings, and he can have like a three finger placement, four finger placement, etc. So for that, we had to again break down from one of the games based on the UI customization. So here you could see that from BGMI we made a breakdown of all the UI customization settings on what could be changed. For example, here you can see that we can change the position of each all the buttons. We can change the scale of buttons. We can change the entire layouts. We can reset whatever changes we made. We can change the opacity of the buttons, etc. So everything which was present in BGMI was broken down. And after breaking down, we created a mockup for our own mechanism. So for that, I think from this I explained everything. So we can go back to that other file where everything was created. Yeah. So once we understood the breakdown of the mechanisms, we created a basic mockup for our own game. So here you could see that we have a settings page, and in that settings page we'll have a customized control button. And once this is pressed, the HUD type page will open up where three different HUD layouts will be present. Again, this idea was taken from the Valorant mobile game. If you could see here, this was one of the reference images which we took. So three different HUD layouts will be provided, and each of these HUD layouts is different. So this is basically two finger placement, three finger placement, and this is compact placement. So we took that idea from here and added it to our own. And each of these placement UIs has their own different placement, like two finger, three finger, and four finger. And whenever the player clicks on customize for any of these HUD layouts, this page will open up where the player can customize whatever is required, like the position, size, and opacity of the buttons. Then he even can hide the buttons if required. So this was another feature which we implemented from Valorant Mobile. Then layout page was implemented where he can have different layouts based on how many ever customization it does. So we kind of mixed what do you say BGMI idea and Valorant Mobile idea. So this was the flow which we did it in. Then once this custom UI button settings flow was done, our next thing was we went with the lobby screen. In the lobby screen you can see that we had basically created the gameplay, and in the gameplay we had a scoreboard, we had weapon selection UI, and we also had a custom settings flow, right? But we didn't have a lobby screen for the player to like choose a mode from, go check the tournaments, pay the money to actually play the game, etc. Money as in coins, which is an in-game currency, battle bucks coins. And this was the mockup which we created. So in this you can see we have a button to select the mode which the player wants to play in, play button to actually start the game, after which the like the coins will be deducted. And here this is the game mode selection screen where currently we have only free for all mode, but in the future we'll be implementing team deathmatch and battle royale mode as well. So for that, even before we actually bring it out, we wanted to have a screen for it, so that we know the basic idea of what will go on in the future. And rest of the tabs is the same as you would see in the mobile, but instead of portrait mode, it's in landscape mode here. And this is a new tab, actually friends tab, where this is not currently implemented, right, Pranjit?
No.
Okay, 1 second, someone's at my door, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, hello, am I audible? You are not audible to me.
Okay. I was speaking
Okay, now you
alone.
are audible.
I muted myself when I was talking alone.
That's kind of funny.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
You can continue.
Yeah, so once we finished up with the lobby screen, as I said, once everything is done, I just basically annotate everything. And after annotating, I update it in the Google document so that everyone can understand. So this was the flow for the lobby screen. Once the lobby screen was done, we went on with what was the next thing which we went for? A scoreboard, I guess. Yeah, scoreboard. So for scoreboard,
You explained
I think
already.
I explained it already, but this was done after the lobby screen. I just explained it at earlier stage just to showcase what was the flow of work which I do. Then once the scoreboard was completed, I collected references for all the other elements which was not yet completed. So if you could see here, emote wheel references was collected along with that kill confirmation UI, then kill feed, then sniper scope, minimap UI, loading screen, enemy highlight. So these were all the things which were left out. So we had to clear this one by one and complete it off so that we would be ready for our release for our first version of the game. So during this time, it's not that we just did all this, we also did some play testing in the between just to check if there were any bugs in the game, to if you could see like if we could enhance any other stuff. So that was one another part of the job which we did. So, okay, then after correcting all these references, the first thing which we did was skill feed references. So based on the skill feed, we collected data, what and all was required. So mostly we took the idea from Valorant, where the character's avatar will be shown along with the name and the weapon which the character used, and the difference in color between the our team and allies. But in our game we didn't have teams, so we had to differentiate the color between ourselves and the enemies. So we created a basic mock-up for it. It's on the right side here. So this was the only thing which we created first, player killed enemy. Once we created this, we had to find out all the edge cases. So edge cases as in the sense like all the different cases of what would happen if this is the condition applied. So in based on that, we created three other edge cases: enemy killing the player, enemy killing another enemy, and what happens if the player gets eliminated themselves by either a grenade explosion or by the fall damage. So based on all that, we created mock-ups for it, and after creating it, annotated it, and then again updated it in the Google document. So this was the process for kill feed. And once the kill feed for us done, we went with the kill confirmation UI. So in kill confirmation UI, again using the references, we took the idea from Valorant again, where the what do you say icon will be shown based on the weapon which was used. For example, if it's a default weapon, this skull icon was shown, but if the weapon had some skin, there would be a different icon for the kill confirmation UI. So we took that idea from here, and also we took the idea from some one other game, yeah,
Oh,
Fragpunk.
yeah.
In Fragpunk, below the kill confirmation UI, you can see that there's some text as well, saying that it's first kill, double kill, headshot, or something like that. So we wanted that idea as well. So we took that from here. So based on that, we created this mock-up basically. So we had like 12 weapons in our game, right? So for each of the weapon, we created a different styled kill confirmation UI, and also this kill confirmation UI is slightly related to the weapon which is used. For example, if I had to say, uh, rifle grenade gun launches only grenades, right? And the kill confirmation is like grenades getting launched. And also the ricochet grenade gun, it's like launching a big ball, right? So the kill confirmation is like a ball getting launched. So it's kind of similar based on what we did. So and also we wanted to include some text. So for that text we included only these three for now, which was headshot. I don't know why other stuff vanished away, but it was headshot, body shot, and leg shot. Bring to stun. It's not getting copied. Okay, leg shot.
Yes.
Yeah. So this was the, what do you say, kill confirmation UI mockup which we did. This is still in the works. This is not done. Most of the other stuff is almost like in the completion, but this is still yet to be done. Then uh, we figured out that we had scoreboard mechanism, we had victory screen. Victory. We didn't have victory screen mechanism at the time. So what did we do? We wanted to finish the victory screen mockup. So we created, uh, based on the references collected, we got the idea from Valorant, this victory and defeat screen. And also we took this idea from CSGO, where the ranks of each of the players will be shown, and also the player stats will be shown. So based on this, we wanted to create the mockup, and this was the mockup which we created.
Okay.
So for victory screen,
Okay.
yeah,
I'll pull the latest one. You can explain.
okay, okay. So victory screen, there will be basically some green tint, and also there will be a subtext showcasing that like some amount of passion is added to it, some amount of personality. Same thing goes for defeat. It will say "Don't cry," just to like kind of motivating the player to maybe win the next game. And once this victory defeat screen goes away, the player will come to this result screen where just like CSGO, the characters are shown along with their player data, and even the scoreboard is shown along with the kill stats, death stats, trophy rewards, coin rewards, etc. And here, play again button is available for the player to play the game again, and back button to go back to the lobby. Here you could see that as Pranjit has put the images, these are the updated images, like updated art for our result screen and the victory screen. So this is the screen which is actually shown, where the player stats are shown, and also the player weapon which he used will be shown. Along with that, the ranking will be shown at the top. The first player will be at the middle, followed by the second and third player. Then there is a scoreboard button. Upon clicking it, the entire game scoreboard will be shown, and every player's data will be showcased here, along with the players who won the trophies and who won the coins, and the amount also will be shown. If the player wants to start the game again, he can spend the 500 coins and start a match again, or else he can go press the back button to go back to the lobby. As I mentioned, the lobby screen, right? We will go back to that lobby. Currently, in this, what do you say, result screen, the emote button is not shown, but we'll implement that as well, where the emote button will shown beside each player, so that they can emote, and all the players who are viewing the screen can see that simultaneously. So this was the flow for victory defeat screen. Once that was done, we realized that we didn't have a matchmaking mechanism. We just had a lobby screen, and once the play button was clicked, he would directly start the match, right? That's not how game works. So we implemented this matchmaking mechanism where once the play button was clicked, it would start finding a match. It would indicate it with this loading icon and also with a timer here. And once a match was found, it will go to the loading screen. And from after the loading screen gets fully loaded, it would go to the weapon selection screen as I mentioned earlier, and the game would start normally. But there's a edge case here as well. The edge case is that if the match was not found within 60 seconds, let's say, the player would get a text message saying that match was not found, and that was it. That was the only edge case here, and this was the entire matchmaking flow for us. For this particularly, we didn't get any references because we had a basic idea on what to do, on what would the flow be. So this is what we did. Then the next thing which we went was with the emote, which we what do you say, mockup. So we collected references, and from the references we took the idea from Fortnite and BGMI. From Fortnite we took the idea of the circular wheel with the highlighted wheel getting a different color, and also the numberings and also the silhouette of the emotes. And from BGMI we took the idea of separating each emote with a line, and also displaying the name of the currently selected emote, because that would be useful to the player instead of trying just understanding from the silhouette. So based on that, we I created this basic mockup where the player is shown with the emote wheel, and also with this emote wheel in the selected state. So in the selected state it will be like this, but in the unselected state it would look like this. But this was not necessarily a complete mockup because the background screen was not shown, right? So based on that, the complete flow was showcased here, where in the gameplay screen the emote button will be present, and in the when the player clicks on the emote button, this will open up, and whenever the player selects any of one of these emotes, that will get highlighted, and that emote will be played in the gameplay. But whenever the player is playing an emote, he cannot play another emote until that animation gets finished. So that's why you can see that crossed out mark on the emote button here. Another thing is that there are many edge cases for it, such that whenever the player gets shot while in the emoting phase, like if he moves around, the emote will get cancelled and he would go back to his running or shooting state. And another thing is that if he is falling from a height, and if he falls down, instead of and if he clicks on the emote button, instead of emoting, the falling animation will be played, and if he will take damage. So that was one of the edge cases. Then once this was done, I think we are coming up with the last part of what I did. So last part was we had custom settings, right, for UI customization, but we didn't have custom crosshair settings where the player can customize his crosshair. So based on that, we again had to make a mock-up for that. So I collected references from BGMI, and I think where's the references? Okay, I can't find it, but based on the references collected, I understood that this was what had to be done. So previously I had created the settings screen, but in that settings screen there was no customized crosshair button. So firstly, the settings screen was changed, and the customized crosshair button was added. And once the player clicks on this button, this page will open up, where different crosshair styles are shown, and the crosshair colors are also shown, and the player can customize based on whatever is required. And also two images will be showcased here. One will be the crosshair in the game, and one will be the crosshair on the enemy's head in the game. So just so that the player gets an idea how it would look like. Then there are two options for the player here. One, he can customize the crosshair whenever the scope is not open in the game, and another, when he can customize the crosshair whenever he is like opening the scope of a particular weapon. So those are the options provided. And also whichever color or style of the crosshair is currently selected, it will be highlighted with this golden yellow border. So that was a feature done. This was actually the last feature which was done. Apart from this, we'll be continuing with finishing up with the Google document, and also the sheets with what work whichever was required. And also one more thing which is left is exit pop-up. So whenever the player wants to exit the game during the gameplay, so for that we haven't done a mock-up yet. So we'll be continuing with that and creating a mock-up for that. So this is the entire process since I started the internship. So these are all the works which is done so far.
in 2.5 months.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was saying in 2.5 months.
5 months,
2.5 months.
2.5 months. Yeah, that was the entire thing done.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Mox. I think we just need to add this exit flow for now. Rest
Yeah,
is what we have been doing. Cool.
exit flow has to be added. Then minimap वो कल मुनमुन बना रही है. She is doing it, right?
Yes, sir. Other thing we don't need to worry. Like it will, we already communicated to the team, so we'll take care.
Okay. So exit. I'll work on exit flow tomorrow then.
Okay. Cool. And from tomorrow, you need to start play testing. I think I am having an ulcer in my mouth. I'm not able to speak.
Oh.
Yeah, on my tongue. I
Okay.
think
Okay. Okay.
it just started from the
It's,
evening. I think from the evening. I'll take medicine.
yeah. Yeah. Take medicine. Rest well.
Okay.
Ulcer means that small bulb, right? Bulb thing, right?
Yeah, a small thing like it feels pain when you talk or eat.
Hmm.
Yeah. Cool. So today we don't have much viewers, and I don't know if people can understand what I'm talking.
Self roaster.
Yeah. So we'll end
What
it.
happened? Like when I started, there were 4 people watching. What happened? Like everyone went away.
Yeah. So this comes. So that's fine. We'll edit this and we'll prepare it for Monday,
Hmm.
right? So yeah.
Recap.
Yeah. Recap. This let's discuss that one on Monday. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Even
Cool.
our editor is working on Chameleon Run right now. I
Okay.
think today was his last day, I feel.
No, not a last day. So he got busy with his study, so he'll reduce some work. So he will not be editing every day's live, but he'll do the breakdown editing.
Okay.
So first one is chameleon run. After the chameleon run, you can give him this one to explain the
Okay.
design process.
Recap.
Not
Hmm.
not recap. I have named it design process breakdown.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. So let's end it here, and we'll discuss internally what to do next, and also we need to do the setup for Elgato.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So
Thank
thank
you
you
guys for
everyone.
watching.